Hey everybody, it's your girl Amber Fox from ForeverAFox.com bringing you the day before tomorrow, Week 12 NFL picks for BlackSportsOnline.com. Now, the score is finally tied up. Me and your boy Robert are 5 and 5 against my picks versus his. But as we all know, this season in the NFL has been crazy with good teams losing to teams they should easily beat. So we never know what's going to happen week to week, but hopefully I can keep it right for you. So let's start off with, of course, the Thanksgiving Day games. And first up, we have the Dolphins and the Lions. Now, the Dolphins have been playing pretty well. I mean, they won their last 3 games, and they're the only team to have beaten the Bears this far, and that's a pretty big accomplishment. So I think that on Thanksgiving Day, they'll probably get over my boys, the Lions. I'll say Dolphins 20, Lions 7. Now, the Bucks and the Cowboys, with a rookie QB on the Bucks at Gronkowski, I think that they'll be having a hard time to best Tony Romo, who's been playing very well thus far. I would say Dallas 30 and the Bucks 10. Now, the Broncos and the Chiefs, if Plummer continues to struggle, expect to see some changes in Denver, but if he can get it together this week, I think they can pull out a win over the Chiefs. Now, I think it would be a close game, but I'll say Broncos 17, Chiefs 16. Heading up to Sunday, we have my first little disagreement with the Steelers and the Ravens. Now, I think the Ravens here will close out the Steelers' playoff chances. Robert has it as Steelers 24 and Ravens 20. However, I think the Ravens are on a 2-game win streak, and they've been playing well, and with Pittsburgh struggling at pretty much both sides of the ball and every part of the field, I think that Baltimore will be able to best them by a touchdown, if not more. Now, the Saints and the Falcons, I also have a little disagreement there. Now, Robert has it as the Falcons 24 and the Saints 21. But I think this will be one of the many upset games we've been seeing this season. And I think the Saints, who are trying to get their playoff hopes back alive and have been doing pretty well at shutting down high-power offenses, will be able to shut down Michael Vick and the Falcons. This doesn't bode well for my fantasy team. However, I think the Saints will put out a close win, probably by a field goal. Now, the Jags and the Bills. The Jags are fighting right now for a wild card spot, and if they can recreate the performance they had last week against the Lions, I think they'll be able to pull this out for a win. Against the Giants. I think they'll pull this out for a win. The Jags 17, Bills 13. Now, the Texans and the Jets. The sporadic performance of the Texans is really what's been hurting them. Sometimes they play well, and sometimes they don't. You really can't call it, and that's the reason why they've been able to pull out a couple of wins. But I don't think they'll be able to do it against a Jets team, which has really been surprising this season, and how well they've played. So let's say Jets 13, Texans 10. Now, the Bengals and the Browns, this is an Ohio rivalry, and while the Bengals are pretty banged up, I think that they'll be able to pull it out, and it'll come down to a battle of the QBs, Palmer versus Fry. And Fry has been struggling all this season trying to get his legs and get his offensive game going, but I think the Bengals and their high-power offense will prove to be too much. So we'll say Bengals 32, Browns 27. Now, the Panthers and the Redskins. The Panthers are looking to extend their 2-game win streak against the Redskins. And the Redskins, since they have the new QB, Jason Campbell, I think will be having a little struggle offensively. So we'll say Panthers 20, Redskins 10. Now, here's my last little disagreement. We have the Cardinals and the Vikings. Now, Robert has this a very close, Vikings 14 to Cardinals 13. But with the way Arizona performed last week against the Lions, if they could recreate that, I think that this will actually be a very easy win for them. So I'm going to say that they'll best the Vikings by a touchdown, if not more. Now, the 49ers and the Rams. The Rams, surprisingly, are on a 5-game win streak, and they're playing against a 49ers team, which actually will be looking to recreate the win that they already had against the Rams, but I think that the Rams will be able to pull this one out 29 to a Niners 28. Now, the Raiders and the Chargers. My boy LT, LaDainian Tomlinson, has been running all over everybody all this season. I don't think it'll be any difference with the Raiders. Now, the Raiders' one saving grace has been their defense. But with LT on the field, you can expect the Chargers to put up big numbers. We'll say Chargers 40 and the Raiders 12. Now, Giants versus the Titans. Now, even though the Titans have improved this season, I don't think it will be enough to get over on my boy Eli Manning and the Giants. Now, the Giants are playing right now to keep their playoffs hopes alive, so that'll be enough motivation for them to play well. I'll say Giants 28 and Titans 16. Now, we have the Bears and the Pats. Now, this should be a very interesting game. These are two playoff caliber teams. We should definitely see both of these in the postseason, and that should be enough to make it exciting. Now, I think the Pats and my boy Tom Brady will be able to pull this out easily, 27 to a Bears 17. Eagles and the Colts. Now, with Donovan McNabb out, the Colts offense should easily be able to outscore the Eagles. Of course, the Colts have had some defensive struggles, so I think the Eagles will be able to get 13 points on them, but I think the Colts will keep it rolling with 28 points. Finally, we have the Monday Night Football matchup between the Packers and the Seahawks. Now, with Favre injured, although he is going to start, I think that's going to cause some problems for the Packers. And the inconsistency that Green Bay has shown all season, losing games they should win, I think will prove to be too much for them. So I think that Seattle will pull this out 30 to a Packers 10. Now, I hope everybody's been enjoying the picks and enjoying me and Robert's little contest, but I'll be back next week and we'll see how I did. So remember, this has been your girl, Amber Fox from ForeverAFox.com. Have a great Thanksgiving holiday, and I hope everybody eats lots and lots. All right, peace.